Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the They're Here Horror Club podcast. My name's Eric. We're going to be doing a little bit of a Scream prediction and a reaction to the Scream 6 trailer. I'll let everybody get in here and give them a minute. And while I wait for everybody, I just wanted to remind you if you could please hit that like, share, and subscribe button on both Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. It's greatly appreciated. Let's get a check in on this trailer. Let's get a few more people in to the room before I start the trailer, though. Hope everybody's doing fine. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody's excited about Scream 6 as I am, but I highly doubt that. I'm a little bit of a fangirl when it comes to the Scream franchise, so well, get some more viewers in here. Come on, I know you guys want to watch this. It's the late breaking news of the Scream franchise. Am I right? Okay, maybe not late breaking, but let's get into this trailer, shall we? I'm so excited for this scene. It looks amazing. That mask is beautiful. I don't understand that. I feel like that scene would have been better shot if the guy completely missed Ghostface. They're given the illusion that this Ghostface is supernatural, and I don't think that's the case, but that's what that scene presents there. Even with a bulletproof vest, that wouldn't do much. That would have severely incapacitated that whoever's under the mask, unless there's multiple, which is very possible.
There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here.
I know a lot of people hate on Melissa Barrera, but I think she's doing a great job, honestly. Ooh.
This isn't like any other Ghostface.
What is this?
Kirby's back in town.
We've got to lure him and we execute him. Hello.
Let's play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Love it. I miss that in Scream. That's one of the things I feel like they were missing in the last one is a lot of those behind the scene, not behind the scenes, but background shots with Ghostface doing some fucked up shit. So I love that.
I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
I'm not liking the looks of Gale Weathers' outcome in this. I don't see how she's gonna make it out of this one alive, and I'll explain why once I get to the predictions of the whole movie.
Guys?
Chef's kiss. That's one thing I feel like their Dead Silence is really good at is the Easter eggs and all that. Okay, so what did everybody think? Oh, apparently I didn't stop that. Whoopsies. Who gives a rat's ass about Star Trek? I'm just kidding. I like a little bit of it, but I'm not the biggest fan on it. So let's talk about the trailer, shall we? First thing I want to say is this could very well be the best sequel we've seen in a Scream movie. And I know Scream 2 is loved by a lot of people. That's the one thing with the Scream franchise I'd say is it's kind of like the Halloween franchise. A lot of fans are divisive with it on which is their favorite. I think it's safe to say that if you did a poll, I'd say Scream 1 is obviously the front runner for the favorite, but you get a lot of fans that really enjoy 2 over 1. There's really even some people that enjoy Scream 3 as their favorite, which is really strange and odd since that's usually the most hated of the franchise, which it personally to me it's not my least favorite. it's honestly one of my favorite because of how outside of the box it was. It was like a movie inside a movie inside of a movie, which is, I don't think they've ever done that before, which is super creative. And I like the touch of the comedy that they added into it. I mean, every Scream has comedic aspects to it, but I'd say 3 did it the best. They might have tried a little bit too hard in some people's eyes, but I definitely enjoyed Scream 3. Scream 4 is probably my least favorite of it just because of the cinematography in it with the coloring, and I read somewhere that they did that on purpose because of the way sequels and rebooted franchises and things like that of the late 2000s, like the Saws, all those, they had a certain color, like a certain tint to the cinematography with it. And yeah, so with Scream 6, I want to definitely say I do think Scream 6 is going to break the box office for all the movies. I think it's going to make I'd say close to 200, maybe 210, which is pretty damn great considering it's a rebooted franchise and it's not Halloween. And other than Halloween, other than the Halloween ends, I'd say that's the route they're going with as far as their plans with the story and the marketing and the ticket sales and whatnot. So let's go to the predictions of the movie. So my first prediction with Scream 6 is it's going to be the bloodiest and most intense, and it's going to have the most kills of any of the movies. Prediction number 2, I think some of your favorites are going to bite the dust. Some of your favorites, I think, from the looks of the scenes and a couple of glimpses I've got in the trailers, I don't think Gail's gonna make it. For one, I've seen clips of her being chased out onto her balcony, and when she's chased out there, she's gonna be completely cornered. And I have a feeling they're either gonna kill her and throw her off the balcony as an homage to CC Cooper in Scream 2, or they're just gonna gut her and leave her on display. I think in that scene, if you watch closely, the guy that's walking up to say the phone's for you and whatnot, I think a lot of people are predicting that that's going to be Gail's new love interest, but I think it's going to end up being her secretary or assistant. If you look at the casting on IMDb, you see a character by the name of Frankie. Now, Frankie hasn't been seen in any other clips or any promotional stuff or anything. And at first I thought I believe his name was Brooks. He's the one New York City cop. He's the one black dude in that. I can't remember if his name is Brooks or not. I might be mistaken with that. But at first I thought that was the New York City cop in Gail's apartment. But upon closer examination, I think it's going to be Frankie and it's going to be her assistant. And obviously, Frankie bites the dust because he does a nosedive through the bookshelf in Gail's apartment. So I think Gail and Frankie are goners, unfortunately. But the good news with that is if you kill off one legacy, they're not going to be able to kill off any other legacies. And I would think it's safe to say at this point, Kirby is definitely a legacy character. I mean, I don't think they would have brought her back if she didn't have the popularity that she does, but even in her one Scream appearance, I'd say it's pretty safe to say she's in the top 4, maybe top 3 of one of the most beloved characters in all the Scream movies. She's like a Randy, but with a little bit more, I'd say a little bit more pizzazz to her. She's not quite as clever as Randy, I would say, but she's got a little more something there, like with her character development. And I've also seen that they're planning on doing a spin-off series with her. I mean, I'm not so sure that's gonna happen now with the unfortunate passing of her little brother, which that's really, really sad. Hopefully they can get that thing rolling, but I would much rather see her spend time with her family. It's a terrible time for a tragedy like that to happen, especially it's supposed to be a really happy moment and her brother dies. So I feel really, really bad. And she's also had to deal with all the issues as far as her ex-husband or boyfriend being in the Ukraine and all that. So my heart really goes out to Hayden Panettiere. Okay. See what we got going on here. We got any comments? Nope, no comments. No big deal. So, with that being said, here's how I envision the movie to turn out and like what I see happening. I think the movie's going to start out, it's going to start out in a restaurant with a young lady, Samara Weaving, whose character's name is Laura, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like she's going to be out to dinner somewhere and she's supposed to be meeting a Tinder date. I feel like the Tinder date is going to be Tony Revolori. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that last name. He's the dude by the name of, I believe, Jason in the movie, and he's also from the Spider-Man universe. I feel like she's gonna supposed to be meeting him, and I feel like he's gonna chicken out, and somebody's gonna either hack into his phone, or there's gonna be some type of trickery, which she's gonna get lured into the Stab Museum or Ghostface Shrine, and I feel like she's gonna end up meeting her demise there. I feel like Tony's gonna be a prime suspect because he was supposed to be meeting her there, but I feel like Tony's gonna end up being innocent, and but we'll get to his fate a little bit later on. After that, it's pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory. What you should do there is with every other Scream movie, you gotta introduce your past characters to bring them into the fold. So I would personally like this. I would rather see the twins and Tara in a film class discussing it, but I think they're gonna end up being at Tara and Sam's apartment. And I think Tara is either gonna turn on the news or she's gonna read something that has to do with it, kind of like an homage to Sydney in the Scream 2, where she's always turning on the news. But I don't feel like that's not very 2023. I don't think very many people are turning on the news. So there's got to be a different way they can do it. And then after that, I feel like Sam is going to have to go check this shrine out. So they all gang up with the Meeks twins and the new introduced Ethan, played by Jack Champion. He's pretty sure he's from the Avatar, or just recently. I'm not a big Avatar fan, so I can't speak on that, but I did see somewhere that he was in the Avatar 2, 3, and 4, however many sequels they're making out of it. But I think they're gonna all meet up at the shrine, and Detective Bailey and Detective Reed, who's Kirby, obviously. I feel like they're gonna meet them there to see what or they could already be there, honestly, which I think would be a smarter idea. They're gonna be investigating. They should definitely be there beforehand. So they're gonna go to the shrine, and everybody's gonna be sketched out. They're all gonna be ridden with PTSD from the Scream 5 events. And after that, you're gonna see the scene where Sam, she walks the lines of the Ghostface shrine, and she's gonna stop and look right into her dad's case, Billy, and she's just gonna have a moment there where she just stares at it and looks. We're gonna have another moment like that in the movie, but after that, I would I would probably say that Detective Bailey and Reed are gonna take Sam and Tara back to the office and police station and give them a little bit of an interrogation, because that's where we get the line, "Do you know anybody that wants to kill you?" And Tara says the line, "Well, not anybody that's still alive, at least." We'll get back to that in a little bit. So after that, I think Sam has to go to her therapy session, and I think her therapist is going to be Henry Czerny, Dr. Stone. I think I've examined these trailers. Like I said, I'm a fangirl for Scream and whatnot. You know, after I looked at the trailer, I think Sam's going to be at her therapy session, and I think somebody's going to knock at the door with that like big glass door with like the bars on it. I think Ghostface is gonna knock on that, and Sam's gonna look out and see it, and she's gonna try to get away. But Henry Czerny, he's he's trying to be a tough guy and he thinks it's all just in her head. So he's going to go up to the door and he's going to either open it and there's not going to be anybody there and Ghostface is going to pop out and gut him right there on the street, or he's going to come into the psychiatrist's office and he's going to kill him right then and there, possibly right there on the sofa. That would be kind of a interesting take on things if he got killed right there on the psychiatrist's sofa. But I'm spitballing here with what I think is going to happen. It doesn't mean it's real or anything, and I haven't seen any spoilers. So, and by the way, anybody that spoils Scream or any other movies, you're a dick. Let people enjoy things. Duh. Okay, so after that, since there's been an attack, Sam's going to want to protect Tara, and there's already going to be some tension there because Sam's overprotective with Tara. And I think Tara's going to want her space and going to want to live her life, and she doesn't want to go down that same route that Sydney went and everybody else went. But at this point, it's unescapable and unavoidable. So she's just she's going to be like the I don't give a fuck character of this movie, I'd say, because she's sick of all the coddling and all the babying and all the inability to live her own life. So I feel like Sam's going to make the Meek twins, Anika, Mindy's girlfriend, and Ethan, played by Jack Champion, and Quinn, played by Lana Liberato, I believe is her name. I'm sorry, I'm butchering names. I'm terrible with that. I can barely pronounce my own name sometimes. So I think they're all going to be sitting there in the little apartment, and that's when Ghostface is going to, well, see, I'm so confused with this. I guess the train scene could technically, yeah, I forgot about that. I'll add that in. So I think after Laura dies and they get the information, they're all going to ride the subway to the shrine, which is going to be a part of the Ghostface musical, I'm guessing. And that's where that comes into play. I don't feel like anything is really going to happen in that scene. I feel like that's might be just a fake out or something. I just feel like that's too, like, whenever Mindy gets her hand covered by that ghost face, I feel like that's either going to be somebody playing around or that's going to be an entirely different scene where Mindy leaves on her own and separates. Like, say after the shrine musical thing, they're all partnered up. Like Chad is with Tara, Mindy is with her girlfriend, Quinn is tagging along, and Mindy is so messed up from the past that she's went through, kind of like Randy, where we saw Randy get a little more jaded and jaded and edgy from what happened, where he was a little more it's not really a fun time anymore. I'm here to help, but like I'm not really here to have fun with scary movies anymore. So I feel like we're gonna get a lot more of a jaded Mindy. She was already a little bit jaded in Scream 2022, but I feel like she's really gonna be just completely over it, kind of like Tara, but in a different way. So after the thing, like I said, they're gonna go back to the apartment and they're just gonna wait it out on Halloween. We already see all the costumes on the street and stuff, and they're just gonna wait it out because Sam doesn't want to risk putting anybody in danger, and she wants to protect them. But her protection's only gonna go so far because I feel like Ghostface is gonna break in, and there could be one Ghostface, there could be 10 Ghostfaces. So he could literally block every exit, which forces them to use the fire escape ladder over to David, I think his name is David, Josh Segura, I believe his name's David in the script, and David Brackett, which is a homage to Annie Brackett from the Halloween series. Also, Sheriff Brackett, her father, I feel like. So, with that being said, after he breaks in, it's gonna end up in multiple stabbings, like with any other Scream movie. It's gonna end with multiple stabbings. I feel like they're not gonna have any choice but to use the ladder, and they're gonna crawl from Samantha's apartment over to David's apartment, Josh Shigora, and I feel like Anika isn't gonna make it. Anika's gonna be the one to die in the apartment. And they're also, I feel like I've seen clips of this. I'm not sure, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it looks like when Mindy is stabbed in her shoulder and she's in the apartment trying to find a way out or a place to hide, she looks over into the bathtub and she sees a body in there, and either they photoshopped it, but to me it looks a lot like Tony Revolori, and I feel like I'm a little torn on this. I don't know if he's going to be dead or if it's going to be a classic Roman fake out where he fakes his death, and I've seen rumors of that, but I'm not certain on that, and I haven't seen any spoilers. I've been trying to avoid those, so I'm not sure. But Anika, I feel like it's going to be Tara's going to go across first, and then Sam, and Mindy is going to hesitate because she's afraid of heights and she doesn't want to leave her girlfriend behind. But after Mindy gets almost all the way over, she's going to look back, and there's going to stand Ghostface just completely annihilating her and possibly stabbing her in the mouth with a knife. I've seen rumors of it's a little gory and a little graphic, but I've seen rumors of like an oral sex death scene with a knife. So I feel like she's going to bite the dust by getting stabbed in the mouth, which is intense, but I'm also looking forward to a more brutal, serious, and less clumsy Ghostface. So after that, obviously Ghostface is going to probably follow Sam and Tara to the bodega where they're asking for help. I I I don't honestly know if Chad is going to be there or not. I'm kind of torn on that. I don't know if he's going to be there, if he's going to be somewhere with Ethan, kind of like a Derry Mickey situation. But they're going to go into the bodega, which we've seen in the trailer, and they're going to ask for help. And the people are being dicks, obviously. There's a line here, girls. You know that garbage. Ghostface is going to come in. He's going to stab the bald dude. He's going to shoot the dude. And he's going to just keep pursuing them until he's able to track them down. Now, in the meantime, Sam or Tara is able to call Kirby, and Kirby's going to come to the shrine. It's so confusing. I don't know how the hell they're going to do all this in 2 hours. Somehow they got to get Kirby, Dermot Mulroney playing Detective Bailey, which I believe is going to be Quinn's dad. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm certain on that. I've seen rumors where he's going to be Quinn's dad, but they're going to get him to the shrine, and they're just going to completely lock down the shrine. There's not going to be any way in or any way out, and they're not going to want anybody else in because they're already going to have everybody they want in there. They're going to have the Meek twins. Well, you don't necessarily have to have Mindy there. You could have Mindy legitimately stabbed on the subway. I think it's a really stupid move if they kill one of the twins, but I guess if it comes down to them either killing Chad or Mindy or Kirby, I'd rather have them. That's so tough. I don't know who I would have them kill. I don't want any of them to die, but it's a Scream movie. Somebody's got to die. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to say that Mindy is going to die on the train, but I think that train scene is an entirely different scene from the one where everybody's riding together. I feel like that's, like I said, what they're just going to check out the crime scene. I don't know why you would go check out the crime scene, but maybe they were asked to come there because they've been through it and they know exactly what's going on. So with the tagline of the movie, New York, New Rules, what do I think that means exactly? I think they're saying that because Ghostface has never really, he's killed in public before, but he's never really done it so out in the open. other than at the beginning of Scream 2. And that really wasn't out in the open. That was in a dark movie theater with everybody dressed up almost identically to him. And it was a little more inconspicuous. Where in this, you've seen him kill in broad daylight, which is a literal first in the franchise. So I think that's what they're going with the New York New Rules tagline is anything can happen, and Ghostface isn't a clumsy doofus in this one. I feel like by the looks of it, he's got to be military trained. He could be a cop. He could be ex-Marines. And with that question, who do I think is going to live? I think Sam is all she's obviously gotta live. They're making her the new final girl of the franchise. Sydney Prescott's always the final girl in my heart, but there just comes a time in franchises where you unfortunately got to move along, and this just wasn't the right part for her. I wish they would have paid her, but who knows what the role was that they had for her, and maybe they just didn't feel like it was justified to pay somebody $10 million for like a 30-second cameo, or which I still think she deserves a 10 million because she's the face of the franchise. Jenna Ortega, because of the popularity she's gained with Wednesday, I feel like a lot of people are going to be referring to her a lot of ways as Sydney or Neve Campbell in a lot of ways, but Neve Campbell is the face of Scream. I think they'll be fine. Honestly, like I said, I think it's going to be the highest box office in any of the Screams. I think the highest they did was with, I want to say Scream 3. I feel like they did 174. I'd have to double check that, but I want to say it's like 174 million. So in order to continue that momentum, you obviously got to keep Jenna Ortega alive. I know a lot of people have seen in the trailer where she's hanging over the balcony and Sam's obviously holding her because of the color of her nail polish and everything. Sam's trying to pull her up, and Tara has this like bewildered, wild-eyed look. And a lot of people are saying that wild-eyed look is her admitting to being Ghostface and being in on it the whole time, but I don't think that's the case. What I think is Sam's holding her from above, hanging from the balcony. Below that balcony in the theater is all that shrine shit, and below her is going to be two ghost faces waiting to just completely annihilate her. Now, Tara is going to fall down, and we're going to think it's all over. And boom, here pops up Chad, her new love interest. He's going to beat the shit out of one ghost face and save her life. Unfortunately, he takes his eyes off the other ghost face, and he's going to take a knife to the back. A lot like Dewey in Scream 1 and Scream 2. He's going to take a knife right in the back. He's basically, Mason Gooding is basically going to be our new Dewey Riley. So I think he's going to take a knife in the back, and then he's just going to be laying there for dead. And then there's going to be that pursuit where you see Tara and Sam being followed. I feel like that's going to be the upper part of the balcony, and that Ghostface is going to lure Sam and Tara. And like I said, Tara's going to let go, and you feel like she's going to meet her demise, and Chad's going to save her right there. But after that, I feel like, anything can honestly happen, but I feel like the Ghostface up there is going to have to unmask himself. And I feel like with that, I'll continue with who I feel like the ghost faces are going to be. But who do I think is going to live? Obviously, Sam and Tara, they're going to live. I feel like Henry Czerny, Dr. Stone, like I said, I think he's biting. He's biting the dust, so he's not living. Kirby, I feel like she's going to be our new Cotton Weary. She doesn't have the same story arc as Kirby or Cotton, but I feel like it's going to be a lot similar where she saves the day, and I think she's going to end up being the opening kill in Scream 7. So I feel like Kirby, Sam, Tara, Chad are all going to live. Now, with that being said, who is gonna die? Who is gonna live, rather? Yeah, who's gonna? I got lost. Sorry about that. uh, who dies? I feel like Dr. Stone's gonna die. Anika, Mindy's girlfriend's gonna die. Mindy is gonna die. Frankie, Gail's assistant, and Gail are gonna die. So that's some pretty intense deaths. And I know a lot of people don't want Gail to die because it completely kills all the legacy characters off, but we still got Neve Campbell, and there's no saying if she won't come back for Scream 7. But I've been reading a lot where Courtney Cox has been saying she's wanting to die in a Scream movie. She's wanting to die all the way back with Scream 4, and they just keep deciding not to kill her off, which is understandable because she's a big draw in Hollywood and she brings a lot of viewers in. But I feel like this time's a good time to kill off the Cox, because I just feel like it's the right time to do it. And especially if they only plan on doing a Scream 5, 6, and 7. If they plan on doing like an 8, I would keep Courtney Cox alive, but I feel at this time the best plan of action would be to kill her. They can always bring her back and as an executive producer, just like they did with this one. But I feel like her time's come and her time's gone, unfortunately. So with that being said, who is Ghostface? That's one of my favorite parts of the Scream movies, is before they come out sitting there and predicting who the killers could be and why the killers are doing what they're doing. With this one, I'll honestly say I can't figure it out. I know there's leaks going around and everybody knows who the killer is, unfortunately, but I haven't completely bought into that. I feel like that might be a marketing strategy done by Paramount, because even up until a few days ago, I read where Tyler and everybody else in the team was in the studio working on the movie still, and that's a little fishy considering the movie comes out in a few weeks, don't you think? So, with that being said, who do I think is Ghostface? I am going to go out on a limb here and say that Ghostface is going to be Dermot Mulroney, the detective, and I feel like his motive is going to be something tied to Stu. I'm not 100% sure what the motive and tie into Stu is going to be, but the ages do work out where Dermot could literally be Stu's dad. I mean, I don't know. We've never heard anything about Stu's parents and all that. And I don't think Stu's alive. I feel like Stu's dead. I love Matthew Lillard just as much as the next guy, but unless they bring him back as a goddamn poltergeist, I feel like he's not coming back. So I feel like it's going to be Dermot Mulroney. He's going to be a relative of Stu somehow, and he's going to have help from two people. One is going to be Ethan, played by Jack Champion, and two, it's going to be Dermot's daughter, Quinn, played by Lana Liberato, and three, I think it's going to be Tony Revolori, which I feel like his death is going to be a fake out. I feel like they need as many hands on this as possible, and I don't feel like two ghost faces while one does all the phone calls is really gonna cut it. I feel like Dermot's gonna be the weathered ghost face. I feel like he's gonna be the one wearing the weathered. That's gonna be Stu's mask, and I feel like the motive is definitely going to be tied into Stu, because they made an emphasis on that in the last movie, where in the one question Ghostface asked Tara who was the killer and stab one, and Tara answers Billy Loomis, and she gets it wrong, and Ghostface says Billy Loomis and Stu Macher. So I feel like they're going to make it so Dermot was already involved back in Scream 5. He was a perpetrator of that and the one egging people on, like Richie and Amber. I'm torn on this. I feel like it would be cooler if Dermot was, it'd be cooler and different if Dermot was related to Stu Macher, but I think they're going to go the route with Dermot being Amber's dad, because obviously they bought that house in Woodsboro because they knew what happened there and they're fanatics and fans. And the shrine clearly indicates that somebody's obsessed. Could be a musical like museum, but anybody that collects all that stuff has to be fanatics of it. You know what I mean? So, I also feel like Quinn and Ethan, they're going to be twins in the movies. Twin in the movies. They're going to be like the evil Meek twins of the movie. They're going to play it off like Ethan's going to play the shy, like nice guy and all that, but I think they're going to fool us with that. But the problem with that is when you have a Scream movie and you're doing all this stuff while you're sitting there and all these scenes are happening, it makes you think, well, where is so-and-so, which is something they really got to avoid in this, where they don't have a lot of absence off the screen. Like once they get a group together, they need to keep as many people of the group together as possible. Otherwise, you're going to know who it is right off the bat. And with that, I feel like the motive obviously is going to be the Macher family pissed off because Billy Loomis got all the credit for the first Scream and Stu was kind of completely forgot about. So I feel like that's going to be the motive. And I feel like Ethan and Jason, there could also be like a true crime aspect to it, where Ethan and Jason are tricked into believing that Sam was actually responsible for the murders in Woodsboro in 2022. And they're going to go off things like the severity of the stab wounds to Richie. That's not just stab wounds of defending yourself. That's a brutal murder. And they're going to look to that. And there's already been signs that Tony Revolori Jason is a true crime fanatic, because if you look, you can see last podcast on the left, and they're really big into conspiracy theories. So that's one avenue they could definitely go in there. But yeah, that's all my Scream predictions. I feel like it's going to be a lot of blood. I feel like there's going to be a lot of gore, and I feel like it's going to be one of the most exciting. And I feel like the new landscape in New York is going to add a lot more fun to the Ghostface character, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So, with that being said, I really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I know it's brief. I like to keep this brief. That way I don't take up too much of your guys' time. If you could do me a quick favor, it would mean a lot. If you could head over to my YouTube page, They're Here Horror Club Podcast, and also over to my Twitch and like this video on Facebook. It's greatly appreciated. And if anybody else has any other questions, just let me know. I don't see many comments popping up here. I don't know if my StreamYard just isn't updating the questions or not, but if you guys do have questions, I'll be sure to get to them on the live stream video comments, and I'll just respond to you there. But it's been my pleasure. My name's Eric with They're Here Horror Club Podcast. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, and I hope you had a great time. Thank you.